there was loads of bodies. There's no way he could have possibly seen that. And by the delayed flag, it makes me think he wasn't sure, which definitely makes it feel a bit like a goal robbed.
They've got to get basic decisions like that correct. That's a huge negative, because that really does change everything.
So Blades, Blackpool away, a chance to bounce back after a terrible performance against Coventry, a chance to get our playoff push back on track, and a chance for some payback from Blackpool's smash and grab earlier in the season at Bramall Lane. A really injury-hit squad, 𝐍𝐨𝐫𝐝 returning to starting lineup, which was nice to see. I thought he did well until he came in against Coventry. Wasn't sure if he was playing as part of a front three or not. He seemed to be dropping to midfield and even kind of playing on the left wing at some parts. But a lot of players actually playing much further forward. R&D, Osborne, even Gordon actually getting a lot further forward, which was quite positive to see. But a really scrappy first 10 minutes. Seems to be a direction from Hecky and the staff to hoof the ball, whether it's a goal kick or a pass. We hoofed it forward. It wasn't really paying off. When we actually got out on the ground, we seemed to do quite well. And actually, we had so many chances in this first half. Sharp's shot just wide. Berger kind of scuffed shot over. R&D should have hit it first time. And then the goal of Berger's, I don't think it actually crossed the line. Watching on the red button, no replay, so I have no idea kind of what happened there, whether it was an offside or a foul. Quite disappointing. But just so many chances. But then ultimately the main ones being Blackpool hitting the crossbar. It was a bit of a panic. And Norwood with a really tame shot on target, but a shot on target nonetheless. At half time, finding ourselves 8th in the table. We're going to have to find a goal from somewhere second half. I really hope we stop hoofing it. I think if we get it on the ground and play it about, as we know we can do, as we did against Borough, then hopefully we'll get something. I think 𝐍𝐨𝐫𝐝 has looked really good. He's looked really up for it, which is good to see, taking people on. 𝐍𝐸𝐶's flicks aren't really working out for him tonight. I mean, when they do work, it's fantastic, but so many of them aren't working tonight, sadly. Lots of young lads on the bench. We're going to have to see some of them come on, presumably at some point. We can't really have a lot of players doing a full 90 minutes again with another match coming so soon on Saturday. I don't see any harm really. Get them on, so let's see what they can do. And as I say, just let's try and get it on the ground and play some nice football.
So it was a pretty mundane half from both sides tonight in Blackpool. Neither side really having that killer instinct to go out and win the game. It was similar in aspects to the Coventry game for us, as in we had a really good first half, some really nice pieces of play, but just couldn't find that cutting edge to go in ahead. And in the second half, we really just ran out of steam, really, and with the amount of games we've had recently and the amount of players that are having to play constantly. Probably the biggest moment of the game for both sides would have been our disallowed goal late on-ish. Norwood had a shot, it was deflected off Robinson and sailed past their goalkeeper. All thought it was a goal until, we saw the linesman's flags up for offside. I didn't really see what he saw. From replays, Robinson looks onside. The only thing I think of is that maybe obstruction of the goalkeeper's view, but again, there was loads of bodies. There's no way he could have possibly seen that. And by the delayed flag, it makes me think he wasn't sure, which definitely makes it feel a bit like a goal robbed and maybe 3 points dropped if that did go in. But that is unfortunate. There was a few chances from set pieces for us that we really should have done better at. In particular, John Egan should have done better with them, as he seemed to always be the target. Where they either sailed over or he just misjumped really. So that was unfortunate. CJ Hamilton, an old academy graduate of ours, did give us quite a lot of problems down the wing. He was very pacey, was getting around our players quite a bit and causing us problems. So it's good that neither him or Medine scored tonight, because that would have both been heart-wrenching. But overall, it was a lot better than the weekend. A lot better display defensively, and there was some nice link-up play. We just did not have that killer instinct at the top end of the pitch and that final ball, which is frustrating, but it is how it is. Unfortunately, we have dropped out of the playoffs tonight. I think it's down to 9th, but we still have a game or two in hand over teams above us. So fingers crossed we can get back on track. One more game at the weekend, and then it will be the international break and a much needed international break for the majority of our lads. For me, they definitely need a rest, and they definitely deserve a rest for the amount of games they've had recently. And yeah, it couldn't come at a better time. And fingers crossed they can all rest up and for one final push for the end of the season.
All right, positives and negatives. Positives, I've managed to get this in shot whilst kneeling on the floor, that I'm not this short, that this is my handle area. I mean, you get that. First half, positive, it was good. We were better, so much better than we were against Coventry. It was good to see Iliman Ndiaye back. I think he works so well with Morgan Gibbs-White. There we go, not a huge amount of positives. Negatives, there's a few. I mean, overall, I would have taken a draw before the game, so I don't want to be too negative, but I think the set pieces, I don't know what they're working on in training, but you can't keep floating a ball without too much on it beyond the far post, because it isn't working, and Egan hasn't seemed to know what to be able to do with them for a little while now. I feel like also when we know we've got another game on Saturday, perhaps making changes a little earlier would be helpful, because first half you saw how good they were, but they were getting fatigued really quickly, and the second half just was not good football, from either side really, but quite a dull game overall. I think another negative is the officials, letting us down with that disallowed goal for Norwood. Was really strange. It looked like it hit Robinson on the way. Billy might have been offside. I think he was, but he's maybe 10 yards away from the goalkeeper. So is that obstructing his view? All a bit strange. They've got to get basic decisions like that correct. That's a huge negative, because that really does change everything. It was a game where there really was only ever going to be one goal in it. And just tactically, you don't need to change personnel, but tactically, when something isn't working, I think the message needs to come from Hecky and the coaches to stop it. You can't keep firing long balls over to Morgan Gibbs-White. It's not necessarily about personnel, but maybe just changing things on the pitch when it clearly isn't working for quite a long time in the second half. So those are my negatives. Over to, and a couple of positives, over to Adam for the ratings.
Statsman here with your ratings from the goalless draw at Bloomfield Road, Blackpool. It wasn't our A side, it wasn't our B side. You could even argue it was our C side. Yes, I'm going to give you a load of puns on these ratings. So we'll start in goal with Wes Foderingham, our rock in goal, 7 out of 10. Did what he needed to do when called upon. Ben Osborne, down the tram lines when he could. 7 for Ozzy, put in a good shift. Reece Norrington-Davies, bit of a roller coaster performance. Started well, dipped off a little bit, a couple of loose challenges, and then got back on track. So 7 for Reece. Kai Gordon, he's come on buckets and spades since his performance at Coventry at the weekend. So I was torn between 6.5 and 7, but I've given Kai 7 for his efforts tonight. Jackie Longthrow, a couple of long throw-ins were big ones, you could say. Defended okay, got in the way for the goal that wasn't given. Anyway, 6.5 for Jackie Longthrow. John Egan, 7 out of 10. John towered above some of the Blackpool defenders. Defended well, but he needed to be really tall to get on some of those far stick crosses in an attacking threat. But Eag's looking a bit more like himself today. Sand Burger, that's a bit easy one, isn't it? I don't like him in that deep role. I prefer him further forward. After Hourahan came on, he did go further forward. He poked the ball home. It still looks impressive, but 7 for Sander. Oliver Norwood, disallowed goal. Answers on a postcard, please, as to why that was disallowed. 6 for Ollie Norwood, because some of the passing was not great. It's either brilliance or not from Ollie. It wasn't his greatest game overall. Morgan Gibbs-White once again tried to illuminate things for the Blades. 7 out of 10. Too many elaborate flicks, do the simple stuff sometimes, but he's certainly a game changer. So 7 there. Iliman Ndiaye, a promenade performance. All right, I'm pushing it a bit there, but great to see him back in the side. He was jinking in and out in the first half, looking to create, looking to cause stuff. We looked dangerous without really getting that. And he's got my top mark for the night, a 7.5. And then Billy Sharp up front. He's ready for the beach, isn't he? Ready for a rest. Billy's put so much in. It wasn't his greatest showing tonight. So 6 out of 10 for Billy. Subs, Conor Harahan. He came on, wasn't given long. Small part, so it wouldn't be fair to give him a score. But 5 out of 10 for Conor. And then Hecky. His team couldn't coast to victory. But, you know, we are light on resources. He hasn't got much at his disposal. He did what he could. And 0-0, it's a point. Should have been all 3. It isn't. But Hecky keeps going. Hecky keeps trying. He's galvanised the club and got us back on track where we need to be. So I'll give the gaffer 6 out of 10. Big local derby coming up at the weekend. Soon turning into a must-win if you want that playoff spot.